Aadhar card is not mandatory according to the Supreme Court ruling. Aadhar card, which is a common man's ID card in India, has been in the news for many reasons. Government, in all its earnestness, wanted to make Aadhar card compulsory for all its important services such as gas connections, bank account, ration cards, registration of marriages, etc. But this attempt of the government met with opposition from many people and organizations who went to the court. The matter reached the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, after hearing all the parties, ruled that the Aadhar card cannot be made mandatory. Before we go into the detailed discussion on the issue, let us review first as to what is Aadhar card and its features. As we all know, Aadhar is a 12-digit individual identification number issued by the Unique Identification Authority of India, that is UIDAI in short, and it is issued on behalf of the Government of India. This number gives a proof of identity and address anywhere in India. Any individual, irrespective of age and gender, and who is a resident in India and satisfies the verification process laid down by the UIDAI, can enroll for Aadhar. Each Aadhar number will be unique to an individual and it will remain valid for life. Aadhar number will help the person to provide access. Aadhar number will help person to access services like banking, mobile phone connections, and other government and non-government services in due course of time. This Unique Identification Authority of India was constituted by the Government of India in January 2009 as an attached office of the Planning Commission, and it was authorized to collect biometric data, and it collected information up to 200 million residents, and it has been seeking an extension of its mandate in this matter. Now, the Government of India, taking into account the unique features of the scheme, wanted to make it mandatory for all its residents so that it can maintain a correct database of its citizens and make use of the same while transacting various schemes of the government. Aadhar scheme uses a biometric retinal fingerprint scans. Now, the scheme and the notifications of the government, however, found opposition by many groups of citizens who filed public interest litigations in the apex court. In response to a PIL seeking stay on the implementation of the unique identification, that is Aadhar scheme, the top court ruling stated that it cannot be made mandatory. Now let us see what were the arguments before the Supreme Court. Many state governments had been trying to make the Aadhar card compulsory for services such as gas connections, bank accounts and others such public services, and even registration of marriages. Now, according to the arguments made in the PILs, it infringed on people's fundamental rights under Article 14, that is the right to equality, and Article 21, that is the right to life and liberty. Now, number 2 was, in many instances, the Aadhar card had been issued to illegal immigrants, therefore it would legitimize their stay in the country. There have been reports of a huge number of Bangladeshi illegal immigrants being issued Aadhar cards. Number 3 argument was no citizen should suffer in the absence of Aadhar card simply because he does not possess one. The central and state government must not insist Aadhar card from citizens before providing them essential services. Number 4 argument was those opting for Aadhar cards are required to give a personal information including biometrics, iris and fingerprints, which infringes the fundamental right to privacy under Article 21. Number 5 was there were no safeguards to protect the personal information and no provision for penalties if it comes to public domain and gets misused. Supreme Court heard the case of the government also, and Supreme Court did not accept the arguments given by the centre. The arguments of the centre were that the centre has already spent 50,000 crore rupees in issuing these cards to citizens, and the centre claimed that the Aadhar card is a voluntary project and added that the consent of an individual was indispensable in issue of these cards. It further said that the initiative was aimed to promote inclusion and benefits of the marginalized sections of the society that has no formal identity proof whatsoever. The government also further argued that though the Aadhar card cannot be made mandatory for services like gas connections or registering of marriages, it should be used as an identity for welfare schemes that involve subsidy. Now let us also see what are the other controversies related to Aadhar number. The Registrar General of India under the Home Ministry, which conducts census operation, was also asked to collect biometric data through the National Population Register as proposed in Census 2011. It was required to send that data to UIDI, that is Unique Identification Authority of India, for deduplication and generation of Aadhar numbers. The problem had arisen because the Home Ministry felt that the data collected by the Unique Identification Authority of India was not secure because it had not been verified by a government servant. Now, the difference was because Registrar General of India officials actually visited the households, but in the case of UIDII, people came to designated centers, and here the data collection has been done by hired private organizations. This created a controversy as to which authority is responsible for collecting data and why duplication of work cannot be avoided and secure data cannot be obtained.